There are inventions we notice and inventions we depend on. Every day at nearly every intersection in America and across the world, we obey a silent command. Red, yellow, green. We trust it. We rely on it. We rarely question where it came from. But behind that simple sequence is a man whose name history almost forgot. An inventor, an entrepreneur, a problem solver. In 1923, Garrett Morgan patented a device that would forever change road safety. The three-position traffic signal introduced something revolutionary, a moment of warning, a pause between danger and decision. This is the story of Garrett Morgan and the invention that helped bring order to chaos.
Garrett Augustus Morgan, Sr., was born on March 4, 1877, in Paris, Kentucky, a predominantly African-American community shaped by the long shadow of slavery. His father, Sidney Morgan, was a formerly enslaved man. His mother, Elizabeth Reed, was also born into slavery and was of African-American and Native American descent. Morgan's childhood was defined by hard work. He split his time between school and laboring on the family farm alongside his siblings. But like many Black Americans of his generation, opportunity was limited and his education was cut short. As a teenager, Morgan left Kentucky behind, heading north to Cincinnati, Ohio, in search of something more, something better.
This is African American History is American History.
In Cincinnati, he worked as a handyman for a wealthy landowner. But Garrett Morgan was not content with simply working. He wanted to learn. Determined to educate himself, he hired a tutor. At night, after long hours of labor, he studied English grammar and continued building the foundation that formal schooling had denied him. It was a pattern that would define his life. See a limitation and find a way around it. In 1895, Morgan moved again, this time to Cleveland, Ohio. There, he found work repairing sewing machines for a clothing manufacturer. And that's where something clicked. Morgan didn't just fix machines, he studied them, improved them, reimagined them. Soon, his reputation spread. He became known as a man who could fix anything. By 1907, Morgan had opened his own sewing machine repair shop. 2 years later, he expanded into a tailoring business, employing over 30 workers. But his curiosity didn't stop there. While experimenting with machine lubricants, Morgan discovered a chemical solution that prevented sewing needles from scorching fabric. That discovery led to something unexpected, a hair care product. He founded the G.A. Morgan Hair Refining Company, producing hair creams, oils, and pressing combs that became widely successful. Garrett Morgan was no longer just an inventor. He was a thriving Black entrepreneur in early 20th century America. By 1920, he had launched the Cleveland Call, a newspaper serving the African American community. He had achieved success. He had built a life. And then he witnessed a problem that would change everything. At the dawn of the automobile age, America's streets were chaotic. Horse-drawn carriages, bicycles, pedestrians, and motor vehicles all competed for space. There were few rules, and even fewer safeguards. Accidents were all too common. One day, Garrett Morgan witnessed a collision between an automobile and a horse-drawn carriage. It wasn't just an accident. It was a symptom of a larger problem. There was no system to manage the growing chaos of modern transportation. So Morgan did what he always did. He set out to fix it. At the time, traffic signals were primitive, typically limited to 2 commands: stop and go. No warning, no transition, just movement and sudden halt. The result? Confusion. collisions, danger. Morgan envisioned something different. He designed a T-shaped traffic signal, a manually operated device with arms that displayed commands. Stop, go, and something entirely new, a third position, a moment of pause, a signal that told drivers not just to act, but to prepare. In 1923, Garrett Morgan patented his invention, the first three-position traffic signal in the United States. It introduced what we now know as the yellow light, a simple idea that would save countless lives. The signal could even halt traffic in all directions, allowing safer transitions and giving pedestrians time to cross. It reduced accidents. It improved coordination. It brought order to disorder. Morgan later sold the rights to his invention to General Electric for $40,000, a significant sum at the time. But its true value? Impossible to measure. Because this wasn't just an invention. It was a system that scaled across cities, across countries, across the world. And yet, this was not Garrett Morgan's only life-saving contribution.
This is African American History is American History.
In 1912, he developed the safety hood, an early form of the gas mask. Just 4 years later, in 1916, disaster struck beneath Lake Erie. An explosion trapped workers in a tunnel, filling it with toxic smoke. Rescue attempts failed. The air was too dangerous, the risk too great. But Garrett Morgan stepped forward. Using his own invention, he entered the tunnel and pulled men out, one by one, alive. The nation took notice, and his device would later be adapted for use by U.S. soldiers during World War I. Garrett Morgan's invention saved lives, on the road and beyond it. And still, despite his contributions, recognition came slowly.
Garrett Morgan died in 1963 in Cleveland, Ohio. Today he rests in Lakeview Cemetery. But his legacy? Well, you'll find it at every intersection. Every red light, every yellow pause, every green signal to move forward. A simple idea at exactly the right time. Garrett Morgan didn't just invent a traffic signal. He gave the world something we still rely on every single day. A moment to think. A moment to react. A moment that, more often than not, means the difference between life and death. Garrett Morgan was truly a genius who saved millions of lives. And that legacy still shines. This has been African American History is American History.
I'm Reggie Banks.
I'm Harlan Kearsley. And on behalf of everyone involved with African American History is American History, thank you for listening.
And if you haven't done so, please like, comment, share, and subscribe to the show. And once you hit that bell icon, you'll be notified as soon as new episodes are posted.
Thanks again, and please stay safe. African American History is American History. Copyright H.C. Kearsley, 2026.